Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
We have got NBA playoffs. Baseball's underway. Next week is our big Kentucky Derby preview. But tonight, Rob Kendall, who's right across from me, former elected official and tax-cutting machine, Rob Kendall.
Thank you.
Tonight is one of your favorite nights.
That's right.
It's the NFL Draft. You love this thing, don't you?
I do, and I'm really pissed off because the big tax and spenders in my town are wanting to, for like the 93rd time, try to build a monstrosity aquatic center, rec center, something that will dramatically raise my taxes. So I'm really pissed off.
So you're going to be the townie that goes to the meeting and says, hold the phone here. You're not building this thing that we don't need under my watch.
And it's making me very mad that I have to do it on the night of the NFL draft because you're right. I think most years, now we can get into this. I think this year is a stinker of a draft. I don't think there's many compelling stories, but I think year in and year out, on average, NFL draft is the most compelling sports event of the year.
The event may be compelling, but the movie stunk. The Kevin Costner movie, and I get it. Kevin Costner likes to do sports movies. He's a sports guy. I understand that. But the movie was a turd. It was a snooze fest.
Yeah, we always got to have some sort of level of romance, right, in any Kevin Costner film. And how does that work in an NFL draft movie?
It's always the worst part of his movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody cared about the love angle in Bull Durham.
That's right.
They made it way too big of a part. I want to hear stories about being a minor leaguer and trying to bring up a hotshot big-time kid. That's more of the story.
Yeah, and then for love of the game, and yeah, you're right. But yeah, this is a stinker of a draft, though. I can't think. It's been probably, what was the year Fisher went number one? Was that 2013? The big lineman for the Chiefs. There has not been a draft this disinteresting to me in terms of just storylines. There's been no trades in the first round. You almost never see that.
Well, not at the time of this recording.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because we're doing this at noon on the day of the draft. There's going to be trades tonight.
And the marquee players aren't that interesting. Like last year, you had Jaden Daniels, you had Caleb Williams.
You don't think Shedeur Sanders is interesting?
I think, but not. I don't think he's going to be a great pro. I think he's a mouthy guy who, if he wasn't Deion Sanders' son.
I'm not saying great pro, but I'm talking about storylines heading into tonight because I'm going to disagree with you. I think watching where Shedeur Sanders falls is going to be very interesting because he could easily go to the Saints in the top 10, or you could be looking at that Brady Quinn situation where he keeps falling down and down. Do the Steelers roll the dice on him? Does somebody trade up? Does Jackson Dart leapfrog him? I think you got quarterback drama tonight, Rob, and I think that's what you're looking for.
Well, okay, so that's an interesting thing. If he starts to fall, because that if it's an Aaron Rodgers type thing. Remember that when Aaron Rodgers came out, it was Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, 1A, 1B. Nobody knows who's going 1 to the 49ers. It could be either of these guys. And remember, then Rodgers doesn't get picked. And, of course, the Bears could have taken him in at like 5, but we had Rex Grossman, so why would you want to do that? We drafted some guy, Benson, a running back from Texas.
Cedric Benson.
Out of the league in a few years.
But he was good for a couple.
Sure, right.
He wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just saying.
And then he starts to fall, and Aaron Rodgers has this serial killer-like look on his face as he has to sit there, and every pick, and he made it into the 20s before the Packers took him. Now, if you have one of those falls, that becomes the story, right? I think they stopped letting you show the guy, though, until he got drafted. I think, didn't they change that? You can't show the guy.
Oh, I don't know. Is that a thing?
I thought they changed that because they were, like, humiliating. We didn't want to humiliate the college kid. It's like, they're going to be a millionaire.
He's already a millionaire now. These kids are getting NIL money.
I don't know.
If Nico is asking for $4 million, what do you think Shedeur Sanders was bringing down at Colorado?
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought maybe they did that, too, because they didn't want to get in the way of, if they're talking to somebody on the phone, who the pick was going to be. So I don't know. Maybe anyway. Yes, if he starts to fall, but I'm saying leading into this draft of where he's projected to go, like if he's the Saints or whatever. But other than Shedeur Sanders, like Cam Ward's not interesting. He's going to go 1. We already know that. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, okay. You need quarterbacks. It's a quarterback-driven draft. The draft is interesting either around really, I mean, it really is quarterbacks, or sometimes mouthy receivers are kind of fun, but we don't really even have one of those in this draft either.
All right, so gun to your head. Over or under 2.5 quarterbacks taken in the first round tonight. So I'm basically asking, do you think Jackson Dart backs his way into that first round?
Yes, I would take Jackson Dart at number 1.
You like him better than Cam Ward?
Yeah, I do. I think in terms of a pro, I think he's going to be a better pro. No, I wouldn't take any of these guys at 1. If I were the Titans and the potential quarterback class for next year, I'm punting on this year. I'm trading that pick. I'm getting dudes. I'm getting players. And I'm saying, look, we're going to build a team so that next year we'll get a dude, and then we got all these guys around him.
Would you take Caleb Williams, who your beloved Chicago Bears took at number 1? Would you take him at number 1 or any of the quarterbacks in this draft?
I would take Caleb Williams because I actually think he's pretty good. And I think now that the Bears have a guy not named Eberflus, who's going to be their coach, they have an offensive guy, and they've built that line back up, and whatever they get tonight, I think the Bears are going to be a much improved team. I actually think Caleb Williams is a pretty good quarterback when he can throw the ball.
Okay, so one of the things we like to do every year when it's the NFL draft is find some quirky ways to bet on this thing.
Yeah.
What are you seeing on your sports betting apps? What are some of the ways that we can bet? Because live betting the NFL draft can be pretty fun because you're anticipating trades. You're following Twitter to see if any beat reporter can scoop the sports books. That was a thing a couple of years ago. I think they've kind of caught up and stopped that now. But is there anything that's catching your eye tonight?
So there's a couple things, and I was trying to see if there was a bet on this app where you could get if Jackson Dart would go ahead of Shedeur Sanders, because I'm not sure that
Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network in his mock draft, he has that happening.
I don't think that's unreasonable at all. So there's a couple. One, Jalen Milroe. You're a
Bama.
SEC guy. You can get him right now at minus 184 to go in the second round. He feels like a second round type of player. If Jackson Dart's your third on the board, if you play this out in your head, Titans get Cam Ward at 1. Let's say the Saints take Sanders at 9, and then the Steelers take Jackson Dart at 17. I don't think Milroe is a guy you're trading back into the first round to get. Now,
No.
I get you're giving up some juice to get that. Here's the one that's interesting, though. Shedeur Sanders to be drafted in the second round right now, plus 166. So clearly the odds makers don't think this fall is impossible. That's not that great of odds for a guy that was, considered one of the tippy top guys not that long ago.
But this is the drama, the storyline that we talked about earlier. Shedeur Sanders could go in the top 10 to the Saints, and he could also go in the second round. That's a pretty big jump right there from saying top 10 to second round.
Now, if you want to live dangerously, here's one that I think is really interesting, which is 3+ quarterbacks to be drafted in the top 10, plus 740. If you believe, like the rumors are that the scouts have been very impressed with Jackson Dart, and if you think there's a possibility, let's say the Jets are at 6 or the Giants. I don't think the Giants are going to with the 2 quarterbacks. But somebody trades up and gets Shedeur Sanders. And let's say the Saints, who don't have a quarterback right now. Let's remember, they have no quarterback. Derek Carr can't play. They're clearly must be thinking about drafting somebody. Do they move up or take Jackson Dart if he's sitting there at 9? Or do the Steelers try to move up? I don't know.
They also have nobody. Now, they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make his decision from the darkness, but they have no options in Pittsburgh.
Well, you know what's interesting is I think it was Tomlin said, whatever happens with Aaron Rodgers will not affect our draft status of a quarterback. So I think those are interesting. If you believe there'll be a quarterback fall, because you see this a lot of times where, oh my gosh, this guy's projected, and then teams are like, well, we're kind of in contention, and if we don't think this guy's going to start right away, we don't want to burn a second-round pick on a guy. Jalen Milroe to be drafted in the third round, plus 350.
That's interesting because I personally think Milroe is a third-round talent.
I agree.
I look at him and I see like Joe Milton when he played at Tennessee. Just a freak of an athlete, a big, strong, physical dude. You look at his legs, he looks like he could be a linebacker, but touch on the football was not his strong suit. So that feels like a third-round project to me.
Oh, my goodness. So this is new. You can get right now Shedeur Sanders to be drafted 15th overall or later. What do you think the odds are?
So over under 14.5, basically.
What do you think is going later than 15 or later, right? You have to do 15 or later. What do you think are the odds right now of him going 15 or later?
Man, I bet it's minus.
It is. Minus 380.
Okay, so that basically comes down to the Saints. You're saying the Saints will not draft Shedeur Sanders. They'll either go Jackson Dart or they'll pick another player.
And here's the thing I love about the draft is it's the build-up to it, right? The actual event, and then it's over, it's done with, right? But it's the strategy. And you and I have had this debate for years that it's not just what your team's doing. You got to be concerned about everybody else. Like, is somebody going to hop you? Your guy that you want, is he right there? And we all know most of these guys are going to be failures anyway, but for one moment in time, Hammer, I know the Bears are going to take some guard who's going to show up fat to camp, probably get injured, and will be out of the league in 3 years. But for one moment, that guard is going to be the key to protecting Caleb Williams.
I will see your fat, out-of-shape, injured guard, and as a Colt fan, I will raise you the defensive back that we will be releasing in 3 years.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm pushing my chips in on the table.
That's good stuff.
A cornerback from Troy or Central Arkansas that really shot up during the combine that can't play.
Okay, if you're a Colts fan, which we're based out of Indianapolis, because I think there's a strong chance the Bears will take Warren at 10.
Yeah.
Because he's this hybrid type of guy that Johnson, the new coach of the Bears, would fit right in with what he did with the Lions. He would love him. I also think he would take Gianti at 10 if he's there, the running back from Boise State. I don't think he'll be there. But if you're the Colts and Lovelace?
Colston Loveland.
Loveland, thank you. Yes, the guy from Michigan. If Warren's off the board, if Warren or that dude are there at 14, Ballard would get, the general manager of the Colts, he would get creamed if you don't take one of those guys.
Oh, Rob, you and your drugs. Chris Ballard clearly has nudes of Jim Irsay or something because his entire time in Indy, the Colts have not won the worst division in football. The Indianapolis Colts that at one point had Peyton Manning and then they transitioned into Andrew Luck. That franchise, they have not won a division under Chris Ballard. The Titans have multiple times. The Texans have multiple times. The freaking Jacksonville Jaguars have multiple times. The Indianapolis Colts have not. So I'm telling you right now, when Chris Ballard said 2 days ago, we like our tight end group, we think we have a good tight end room, that tells you everything you need to know.
One other thing, and I thought this was fascinating. So the first 3 picks are almost universally, there's no point. You've got minus 50. What is that? Minus 50,000 for Cam Ward to go 1, minus.
Which side are you looking at?
FanDuel.
Okay.
Minus 6,000 for Travis Hunter to go 2, minus 3,500 for Abdul Carter to go 3. So it's almost like that's etched in stone what people think is going to happen. Now, Will Campbell, who's the lineman, is the overwhelming favorite to go 4 at minus 550 to the Patriots or whoever holds the 4th pick.
I think it's the Patriots. They need a little protection from Drake May.
This is what's interesting to me. Gianti is minus 250 to go 5, which is the Jags. Now, everybody thinks that Pete Carroll's going to take him at 6, but that's a pretty strong favorite. At 5, that's pretty high for a running back.
And I don't think the Jags
have a running back?
Jags have a decent running attack in tandems. ATN is pretty good. They need protection for Trevor Lawrence whenever he can get healthy.
Yeah.
They need some playmakers for Trevor Lawrence whenever he can get healthy.
So this is crazy because Mason Graham, who's a defensive guy from Michigan, is second at plus 300. That Membo guy, Armand Membo from Missouri, is the first. Oh, Kelvin, right? Or is Banks? No, Kelvin Banks, Membo. I agree with you. You can get Kelvin Banks at plus 1,700. You can get Membo at plus 1,800. Those are some decent odds down the board a little bit.
And if you're the Jags, why wouldn't you want somebody that can chase around C.J. Stroud a little bit, put a little pressure on him?
Yeah.
You don't need a running back when you have a serviceable one. Of all the needs the Jags have, running back, I don't feel like it's a very big one.
Yeah, right now you can get Mason Graham at plus 300, Kelvin Banks Jr. at plus 1,700, or Membo, who people think, like, he's a guy that needs a year or two, but he's going to be, a lot of people think he's going to be the star of the lineman out of this draft. At plus 1,800, man, that's one of those seems like it's worth taking a flyer on.
All right, so we've talked about the NFL draft. Again, round 1 coming up tonight. Also tonight, NBA playoffs, and I want action.
I want action tonight, satisfaction all night.
Motown. Detroit. Going to be loud, going to be fired up. First time they've had a home playoff game in Detroit where they weren't down 0-2 in a series in a long time. I saw a stat the other day. During his entire time as the Pope that had recently just passed away, had never seen a Detroit playoff win. Not a series win, Rob. From the time he became the Pope to the recent passing, he did not see a single win from the Detroit Pistons in a playoff series. They've been swept out or they haven't made the playoffs his entire papacy. So tonight, the Knicks going into Detroit, the Pistons stole one on the road. That place is going to be rocking and rolling. But you know who's not scared? Las Vegas odds makers, because the Knicks are still a favorite in this game at Detroit tonight. Now, it's close. It's 1 to 1.5, depending on which sports book you're looking at. I see 1 at Bet Rivers. The Knicks -1 with an over-under of 214.5. I said it last week. I'm just not all in on this Pistons team yet. It feels like they're a year away. And even though the Knicks are going to run those dudes into the ground because Tibbs hates going to the bench, I think that Knicks win this series. I do. And I'm on the Knicks tonight. I'm going to lay the 1. And the only reason I'm laying the 1 and not the money line is you get just a little bit better juice, right? I can take the Knicks money line -117, but I might as well get 112 if you just lay the 1 stinking point. The Knicks have covered the spread in each of their last 4 Eastern Conference first-round games following a loss, okay? So Tibbs is pretty good at circling the wagons and getting these dudes to respond after a loss. And now they're coming off of a home loss. All the pressure now shifts to a very young Detroit Pistons team. How are they going to handle the spotlight? They're going to play off that crowd for a little while, but if the Knicks show up and they weather that storm early on, I like the Knicks in this one. I'm going to lay 1. All right, coming up here next, our 2 pro handicappers. They're going to share their thoughts on some other NBA playoff matchups. Don't go anywhere. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer, Rob Kendall right across from me, and on the hotline right now, one of our professional handicappers, the man behind KB Sports. KB is Kenny Britt, and Kenny, we're getting close to your Super Bowl. Kentucky Derby. You are a horse racing savant. The way Rob bets golf, the way I bet racing, you are a horse racing guy, and we're getting close to go time for you, my friend.
Yeah, this is it. This is the season. It all starts next week. I really can't wait for next weekend. It's a great opportunity to make a ton of money. Next week's show, we'll get into the race itself. But today I just want to talk real quick about what to expect next week. I've already got people ordering cards for the weekday cards like Wednesday and Thursday, which is also pretty good racing. I've also got a lot of people messaging me wanting to know how to bet. On Sunday, if you follow me on my Facebook page, KB Sports, I'm going to post about a 5-minute video, horse racing betting 101. I will try to get into your simpler bets for the, just the once or twice a year better, exactas, big threes, doubles, the very simple stuff. So if you follow me on Facebook, I'll get all that out for you, tell you how to bet, explain that to you. Friday and Saturday are the 2 big days, obviously. Friday is Kentucky Oaks Day. A lot of people overlook that, but that's actually where I make a lot of my money on Oaks Day. I know one year I was actually on your radio show, Jason, and right before you called me, I had hit a pick 5 for $4,000 on that day.
Nice.
So anyway, we'll get into the races next Thursday show. But again, we got races going on all week next week at Churchill. They're really good races, but don't overlook Friday's card for Kentucky Oaks Day.
Okay, so we will discuss the racing next week, the actual Run for the Roses. But follow Kenny on Facebook, KB Sports, and you'll see the Horse Racing for Dummies edition that he's going to put out ahead of the Derby. All right, let's shift to the NBA playoffs here. And so far, man, there's only been a handful of games that have came down to the wire. So far, this Clippers and Nuggets series has been really good, but there have been a lot of ass whippings too.
Yeah, there have been, and of course, when you're on the right side of it, you love it because you don't have to you don't have to worry about anything. Me and you talked about Detroit, the Knicks last week, and really 80% of the games, Detroit, or the time, Detroit's outplaying them right now. For about 8, New York only won game 1 because they went on a 23-0 blitz or something,
right,
or something like that. Detroit's really playing good ball, and I couldn't believe New York was favored for tonight's game. Kind of scares me a little bit because I like Detroit, but they've got, Vegas has got New York favored. So, I don't know how that game's going to go. Thibs is going to run them into the ground, and if it goes 7 games, I don't know what's going to happen with that game. But a game I really like tonight, this is a Jason Hammer special. I know you love this. I'm going to lay it out kind of like you do. So, the first game with Oklahoma City, Memphis, that was an anomaly. Memphis did 50 points worse than Oklahoma City. The second game, it was about 20 points. But Oklahoma City, they played better. They scored more points, et cetera, et cetera. Well, tonight they're in Memphis. Memphis is averaging 61 points a half in the first half on the season. At home, they're averaging 63 points. Oklahoma City is number 1 in the league in first half points, and Memphis's numbers are number 4 in the league. So I think it's going to be a fast-paced first half. We all know the playoffs slow down in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. But first half, Memphis's total points is 104.5 on FanDuel. I'm sorry, 54.5 for Memphis on FanDuel. I think that's great value when they're averaging 63 at home. You're basically getting 10 points on that. So, Jason, I am on Memphis over 54.5 first half tonight.
Now you're talking, man. Now you're talking.
That's right.
You're getting down into the degenerate territory right there, and I'm here for it. And listen, the jokes write themselves, right? If you think Memphis is going to get out to a fast start with Ja Morant, you could call that a shotgun start, right? Come on, that's a good Ja Morant joke. Let's go.
I told some friends this the other. Well, it might have been on our thread too, our texting thread. In 3 years, I don't think he'll be in the league. He can't help himself. He's been in all this trouble, and now he's doing some new whatever
celebration. Yeah, for sure.
New celebration that he goes, I'm going to do it till. Why poke the bear? Stop. I
would rather have millions and millions and millions of dollars than street cred, but that's just me.
And that's just it. He wants to be a thug. I mean, he strives to be a thug, and I don't understand it. And I really don't think he's going to be in the league in 3 years. And that's sad because, God, he's good.
Oh, he's amazing to watch, but it's almost like his friends bring him down. Like most people have idiot friends, but you mature to a point to where you're like, okay, I'm in a relationship. I've got a family. I can't be hanging out with my high school friends that are still at the same dive bars from high school, driving around like Matthew McConaughey trying to pick up chicks from the bowling alley. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be thinking of someone, but I think his dad is also an enabler, isn't he?
A little bit. He likes the spotlight. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So anyway, that's a great pun. Shotgun start. I love it. That's great. But that's your kind of bet. Like I said, in the second game, they only scored 17 points in the first quarter, but then they got 35 in the second, and they scored 40. I think it was 47 or 49 points at halftime.
Nice.
Game 2. So
all right, man.
Over 54.5 tonight.
Love it. I am in. I am going to make that bet. I'm going to ride or die with you on that one. And if somebody wants to become a client of yours, especially as we get in the red zone here for the Kentucky Derby, where can they go?
Right. Facebook, KB Sports, Kentucky Derby, NBA playoffs. baseball, Jason. I am 24 games over 500 right now. I am absolutely crushing baseball. Absolutely crushing baseball. $75 a month for Major League Baseball, and that's every day. That's the great thing about baseball. You know, we all love football. That's our favorite sport, but baseball you can bet every single day.
Right. Absolutely. And there's tons of ways you can bet it too, for sure.
Oh my God. There's literally hundreds of ways to bet baseball.
Kenny Britt, KB Sports. Give him a follow on Facebook. My man, we'll talk next week when it's Derby time.
All right. I can't wait, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. We go from one professional handicapper to another one, because that's what we do here on this program. Rob and I, we're not professionals. We do our homework. We're degenerates, but we're not professionals. But Kenny Britt is, and so is David Stephanoff. FollowNeverFade.com. That's the site. That's the service. David, how are you?
Good morning, Hammer, Rob, Kenny. Thank you for having me. Great morning. NBA, baseball, tennis. We're full swing right now, right, Hammer?
Now, I saw you posting on social media. You're very proud that your Dodger fans invaded Wrigleyville and had a big turnout, and they were going up and down the street. But my only question to you, David, is as a Cub fan, did they take those brooms with them when they left Chicago, my friend?
Hey, you are not. Yeah, they could. Us Dodger fans, they do travel well. Let's not get that wrong. But you know what? I'm gonna tip my cap. I bet the Cubs a couple of these games in the series, and I've told people this: the Cubs are good. The Cubs are good. I'll say this real quick. My son's a diehard pitching baseball fan. He says the Cubs starter, the Japanese guy, and the Dodgers starter, Japanese guys, are the best two pitchers in baseball, and he swears by them. But hey, I tip my hat off the Cubs. They're legit. They're a good team, and Dodgers they have no pitching. I mean, hey,
right. And David, you know what frustrates me because I am a Cub fan, lifelong Cub fan. Like Harry Carey and Steve Stone were my babysitters as a kid. I just get plopped down in front of the TV, and I was raised by Harry and Steve Stone.
Leon Durham, Hammer.
Right. And the thing that bothers me is, yes, they're having success, which I'm grateful for as a fan, but this means that the Ricketts family is going to act like they were right by being so incredibly cheap, by acting like they're the Pirates and they're having a hard time breaking even, which all of us know that's bullshit. But the fact that the team is probably playing a little better than what they are right now, the Ricketts family is doing a victory lap saying, "See, we told you so," and that kind of burns my ass a little bit.
It does too. These teams, that's baseball. They get that revenue sharing, and that's why the Dodgers can spend the money. The Cubs can spend the money if they wanted to. They're just hold on. Just
right.
Like the Reds and the Pirates. Why aren't the Pirates doing that? They're doing skiing so much injustice by not getting people to help him. It just the revenue sharing's ruined baseball, and that's why the Yankees and the Dodgers, they spend the money. But you know what? It's not really about how much money you spend. It's like just NIL. You got to be smart and. You know what? Long term, I think the Cubs definitely are going to be there in the postseason, Hammer. I hate to say it, but hey, I'm a baseball fan, and they're from top to bottom, they're pretty good.
And it doesn't hurt playing in, Major League Baseball's version of the AFC South either, that National League Central. All right, let's dive into some NBA playoffs. We got action tonight. We got action tomorrow. What are you looking at?
I think I heard you tell me earlier that I heard Kenny say he's on the Memphis game, first half under. Was that right, Hammer?
Memphis Grizzlies, their team total over 54.5 first half.
Okay. Well, I got two plays, like one game today, one game tomorrow. One tonight. I like the I'm kind of on Kenny's bandwagon there with Memphis and the OKC game over. It started at 226, I think, this morning, up to 227 some places, 227.5. But my thing is here, Memphis at home, I think in the last 15 games have scored over 115 points in almost 13 of the 15. I know the two playoff games, they laid eggs, but they're a different team at home. They get up and down the court. I love this over 226, 227 tonight, but still at 227. Regarding OKC, they're going to score 110, 120 regardless. But I think Memphis, that line's off of that's no respect for that 9-point spread they got going tonight. That's disrespectful to Memphis. Even though as people in Indiana don't despise John Morant and his shooting thing, but I just think the over is the play in that game tonight. Like Kenny's right that Memphis is going to score some points. They score a lot of points at home. They score tons of points at home. I like the Memphis OKC over 226, 227, Hammer.
Okay, so now let's go to Boston tomorrow. Even though they're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, I think everybody agrees they're still the best team in the East, the team to beat. No disrespect to Cleveland, but I don't know how serious Boston took the regular season. But with Tatum being out here, it looks like that line has changed quite a bit. So Boston goes on the road to Orlando, and I'm seeing a line of around 5 right now.
Yeah, I think that line's still too low. I think they had one game without Tatum already versus Orlando, and they still pulled it out. It was kind of grinded out. They had to get their feet under them. With the coaching and the veterans they have, I think this is a great spot because you never get Boston like this low in the playoffs, especially against a seed like this. Low line. Regardless of Tatum's playing, he's probably not playing. I think he'll probably play the whole series. I'm pretty sure. But I think I'm laying that 5 points tomorrow with Boston. They're the better team, top to bottom. Orlando just has trouble scoring, and regardless of Boston, who's playing on the court, they got the best sixth man in the league that he got toward the other night. They score points regardless. They're well coached. They score points. I'm taking this is a soft line. I'm taking the overreaction here because of the Tatum injury. They're still good. I'm laying the 5 tomorrow against the Magic Hammer.
If somebody wants to become a client of yours, David, where do they go?
Right now, it's summertime. We're on every platform, Hammer, every day. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We put out free videos, free plays. We put out a lot of free plays. Right now, our bread and butter is baseball, tennis, NBA. I keep telling people tennis is the easiest sport to bet in the whole world, people. If you don't understand tennis, hey, but I love tennis. It's easy income. But we're on, message me directly on any platform. We're on Facebook every day, TikTok, every platform, follownoverfade.com. Just type it in. We pop up with free plays. My service is available. Right now, real quick, I'll tell you my baseball record. We're 58-52 in Major League Baseball, just a little bit of 500, not as well as we was last year. College baseball, no bullshit, no BS, not going to lie. We're 110-52. But hey, good luck to everybody this week. I hope everybody takes my plays and follows Kenny and Hammer and Rob. I like the over tonight in the Memphis game, and I like the Celtics tomorrow against the Magic, laying the -5. Have a great week. Thank you, Hammer, for everything you do, and don't forget to follow Never Fade.
All right, coming up next, we'll put a bow on this show with a degenerate special for the ages. Get your pen out, get your paper out, take notes. That's next. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, Rob Kendall. He's right across from me. I'm Jason Hammer. And one thing we do every year when it's the NFL draft, Rob, is we look at the order of teams selecting, and then we think about what football-playing fictional character would best fit their needs. What football player from a movie or TV show would best fit their needs? So let me begin here because I'm looking at the Tennessee Titans. They're on the clock. They clearly need a quarterback. Now, you've got a lot of options here, but I am going with the player that I think is a franchise-making guy, Stan Gable from Adams College in Revenge of the Nerds. And this is why. In the movie Revenge of the Nerds, the classic sex comedy from the 80s, Ted McGinley's character plays the good-looking quarterback Stan Gable. He's running for re-election to the Greek Council, which means he plans on coming back next year. So he's got another year of eligibility. At a pep rally, they introduce him as their 2-time All-American quarterback. That's at a pep rally before a game, which tells me the end-of-the-year awards have not been given out yet. So this tells me he's a junior. And if he's a 2-time All-American quarterback with one award not given out yet, and he's coming back next year, do the math. He was All-American as a freshman. He was a freshman, sophomore All-American. He's in his junior season. He's running for re-election to the Greek Council. He's been an All-American since he stepped on Adams College as a true freshman. I'm telling you, this is the guy. This is the Peyton Manning. This is the John Elway. He's the chosen one. All the signs are there. He's a franchise-changing quarterback. You give me Stan Gable, quarterback, Adams College.
I love the effort you put into this. Like, your mind never, I mean, it's a scary place, but it never ceases to amaze me the things you'll come up with. And the fact you put this much effort into that, kudos to you. That is just a heck of a segment there.
Well, if you like where my mind goes for that, get ready, Bal. Here comes the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
Now, traditionally, the Degenerate Special features college teams from a small conference that nobody cares about. Maybe it's something from the world of ping pong or some obscure sport. But today's Degenerate Special, Rob, we're betting on the next pope.
Yes!
We are pope betting on the Degenerates Next Door because while you can't do it in the United States, there are multiple overseas markets where you can bet on the next pope, and I've broken down some odds here.
Uh-oh.
Just like in the United States, you got to shop around for the best number. Multiple books may have a different number.
Yes.
So you find the one that works best for you. The favorites right now to be the new pope, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. He's the Vatican's Secretary of State. You can find him around plus 200, plus 250. Second in command at the Vatican, career diplomat who has consistently risen above the turbulence, making a safe choice for the Catholic Church. He kind of has the same theological trajectory as Francis had. So it wouldn't be like you're getting somebody totally different. It'd be business as usual. He's the front runner right now at plus 200. But right behind him, Luis Antonio Tagle. Now, he's neck and neck with Parolin. Tagle's from the Philippines. He's considered a more progressive option, and he's Asian. So if you're looking for a progressive that checks a box, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, if the Catholic Church is thinking, hey, we've got to tap into the Asian market, what if we had an Asian pope? This is a guy you want to put your money on.
Here's the thing, Hammer. I think it's been like 1,000 years since there's been a black pope.
Okay, so let's get into some other folks here. You've got Cardinal Fridolin Mbongo, Archbishop of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Catholic Church views Africa as an untapped area where they can really pick up some momentum, pick up some more members to the church. And if you want to hitch your wagon to the guy from the Republic of Congo, plus 600 is good value. Very good value. You've got Cardinal Peter Erdo, the Archbishop of Budapest, Hungary. He's at plus 300 right now. Now, he's on the conservative side. It feels like the Catholic Church has gone woke the last couple of years. So I don't know if that's fool's gold or not. I'm going to tell you who to fade before I give you my long shot here. Angelo Scola. We are fading Scola. He now sits all the way back at 2,000. But you got to remember, back in 2013, when the conclave met, he was almost the guy. He was almost the dude, but he didn't get it. Think of it like Bernie Sanders the last couple of American election cycles. He's older. He's 83 now. He's super popular, but I feel like he missed his window of opportunity.
Yeah, and to quote the great philosopher Marshall Mathers, he once said about Moby, you're too old, let go. It's
too
over.
old, let go. Here's my dark horse.
Uh-oh.
This is my true degenerate special. It's 12-1, okay? So the odds are not in your favor. But if you want to get nuts, Rob, and I know you like to, plus 1,200. Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. He is 60 years old, pastoral candidate who has spoken out about the Israel-Hamas war, visited Gaza during the last conflict. Again, looks like they're kind of going for somebody woke. And I got to be honest with you, the name alone makes me want to bet this guy.
Pizzaballa.
Pizzaballa. Pizzaballa. Pizzaballa. Da, 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 da. Plus 1,200. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a parlay together. Pope Pizzaballa and one of the Cuomo brothers to be the next mayor of New York City. It's a left-leaning, liberal, two-leg parlay. You cash both of those things. Your toes are tapping, and that is your degenerate special.
What a man.
Next week, it's our Kentucky Derby special.
Yeah!
It's like Kenny Britt's Super Bowl next week. We'll get into that, plus more NBA playoffs and some baseball as well. For Rob Kendall, for Kenny Britt of KB Sports, for David Stephanoff of FollowNeverFade.com, I'm Jason Hammer. Enjoy the draft, enjoy the playoffs, enjoy baseball, enjoy being a degenerate. And as always, may the odds be ever in your favor.